Hello and welcome to Brimwood Farm. Now, as you know, if you've been watching the channel for any length of time, you know that I've had a bit of a miserable gardening year when it comes to my veg plot. Things just haven't worked out for all manner of reasons, but that is no reason to be down. I am focusing on the winter garden today, and here are 9 crops that you can grow and that I will be growing most of in my little plot. So number 1 is lettuces. So lettuces can be grown all year round depending on the type and where you pop them, and towards the end of August and September you can still sow a few of the cropping varieties for the summer. You will need to give them a little bit of protection, maybe a cloche as you get into those first frosts, but these guys are only 3 weeks old. They are soon going to be providing me with lots and lots of green salad leaves through the coming months. They aren't hardy, so they aren't frost hardy, they're not going to survive winter cold, but place them in a bed, put a cloche over the bottom, over the top rather, and I'll get them through till late autumn, early winter without a problem, when my next lettuces will be coming in. Number 2 is kale. So these tiny little plants are kale, and they are going to be fantastic during the winter. They are also about 3 weeks old, and they're going to be growing on here in beds where I've transplanted them. And you must beware at this time of year that there are still naughty little caterpillars about and butterflies. So check the leaves. So you can see here this leaf is fairly nibbled, and if we look under here, I wonder, there we go, there's one I missed. Oh, actually, is that a caterpillar or is that may not be is that a caterpillar or is that is a caterpillar. I thought it might be a hoverfly larvae. That is a caterpillar. Let's kill that. Off we go. So it's a good idea to come out and check your kale plants once you transplanted them at this time of year. Check them at least every other day. Just look under the leaves, make sure there's no caterpillars and there's no eggs. So this bed is going to be kale. I've lost a few. I've got one down here, but you can see there's a hole there and there's a couple of holes, but these will grow up to be nice big plants and they'll fill this area anyway, so I'll have plenty of crop throughout the winter. The third is chicory, also sometimes known as Italian chicory because the Italians use it a lot in their recipes. Now, I've never grown this variety before, I've never grown this plant before. It starts off green, and then as the cold comes it turns it into a lovely crisp deep red colour. They're currently still in the greenhouse because it's been super hot outside, so I haven't wanted to throw these into a bed where it's going to suddenly get really hot and really dry. I prefer to keep them well watered in the greenhouse. I'm going to pop them back into their tray, keep them in here, keep them well watered, and then I'll pinch these plants out and put them outside. But I'm excited to see how these guys do. Number 4 is these super seedlings, pak choi. Now, I had a very old pack of pak choi, so I thought I'm going to throw them all in because most of them won't germinate, and what's happened, most of them have germinated, so I don't need anywhere near this number of plants, so I will prick them out. And they also need transplanting and burying deep, just to make them nice little sturdy plants. Again, I'm not putting them out yet because of the heat, so I'm going to keep them in the greenhouse for now, keep them well watered. It's easy to look after them. But that is another 4th vegetable that you can use over the winter, pak choi. And number 5, spinach. I love spinach. I've planted 3 varieties. I can't remember the third, but the first are Apollo and the second is Medania. Plant them now and you can get some harvest through the autumn. They'll sit through winter and then you'll get spring harvests too. Plant them in the spring and you'll get some harvest, but then they will be quick to bolt as soon as it gets warm and dry. So I like to put them in now. They will just grow really, really speedily. You can see these guys are already coming up really, really well, and they've only been in for about a week. So this warm weather of the end of the summer and the early autumn will get them on their way, and then you'll have lovely sturdy plants that will sit happily in your beds. If you're worried about them, put a cloche, but I found that for the most part, unless it's heavy snow, if there's just frosts, mostly they will just freeze and then as the sun comes up, they will kind of thaw out and they'll be absolutely fine. So number 6, lovely winter lettuces. Things like Arctic King or Winter Density are fantastic lettuces for growing in the winter. Now, as you can see, I hadn't had any germination. These are quite old seeds, so unlike the pak choi where everything grow, the opposite is true here, and these don't seem to have come up at all. So I may need to run and get some more seeds. However, they do also prefer colder temperatures to germinate, so it may just have been too warm. I'm going to sow some more in here and hopefully they'll get going. Again, like the spinach, they can deal with colder temperatures. Obviously their growth is super slow, but actually they don't mind those colder temperatures and the shorter lengths of day. And you'll get some lovely looking lettuces early spring that'll be ready just to pick and go straight into salads. Now for 7, 8 and 9, it's a little bit early in the year, and certainly for 7 and 8, I don't actually grow them here. So 7 is garlic and 8 is onions. And the reason I don't grow them is because they just take up a lot of room in your beds and they're not a quick turnaround crop. So for me, I want stuff that I can put into these beds because obviously my plot is tiny. I want stuff I can put in that's going to grow quickly and I can harvest again. Onions, you're going to be putting in you know, the beginning of winter, and they're going to sit through until they've bulked up and dried off right in the summer. But they're a great winter crop. They're a great way to fill your beds, as are garlic. And then number 9 is your wonderful broad bean. Again, pop those in direct, grow them in the soil, and they won't grow in that harsh cold, and they'll just start poking up the little tips as the milder weather comes on, and you'll get some lovely broad beans. You can use a really, really nice early variety like Aquadolce Claudia, and that will happily sit in the ground and survive the winter cold, and then come up, as I say, with these lovely little green spikes to give you a nice early spring harvest of earthy flavoured beans. So aside from those garlic and the onions, which I won't be growing, I will be trying to grow everything else throughout the winter. And I love the winter season because everything's a bit slower. Everything still grows, you can nurture things, but things don't romp away, and that's what's got to me this year. It's been the fact that I haven't had time or energy to deal with the summer garden, and so things in the blink of an eye have died because they haven't been watered or have got eaten by bugs. Whereas the winter is a lot more calm. You get to trudge down in those frosts and see the beautiful the garden, the kale tinged with frost. It's lovely. Hopefully over the winter season we'll have plenty of kale to eat, some spinach and maybe some cilantro too, and then coming into the spring all those lovely little lettuces and the beans will be ready to fill the menu until the summer crops come on. I hope it's inspired you a little bit to go out and grab some more seeds and start gardening. If you've liked the video, please hit the thumbs up button and subscribe. Come over to Facebook, join us at Brimwood Farm's community group. But for now, I'm going to actually go and do some more gardening, so I'll see you again soon. Bye bye.